Give me a hell yeah.
Ooh, you know what time it is.
Bless up. Bless up.
Ah! Turn the fucking jets on. Turn the fucking jets on.
You know what time it is.
Give me a hell yeah.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce guys that you know. Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings. Big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the par, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the thing song. Do it for Deuce and Mo.
We are live! Are you cool with how the camera looks right now, Morgan?
Yeah.
All right. I just want you're very particular. How we doing on a Tuesday night? I'm Deuce. That's Morgan. We're gonna be talking some NBA tonight. What is going on?
What up, Deuce?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Everything good with you?
Hey, Morgan.
Hi.
Who you rooting for? Be honest with me, seriously. I want to know.
For y'all.
Okay.
For us.
What about the Kings?
Let's go, Kings.
Oh, shout out to people joining us live tonight, including one of our newest subscribers on Twitch, Stir Fried, who gave me some love for that pre-show graphic I did.
Oh.
Can I just real fast, Morgan?
Well, you're going
it's
to
very-
anyway, so
no,
yes, you can.
I very rarely give myself
Brag about yourself. Yeah. Very humble.
I very rarely give myself credit for everything I do. And my graphic game over the last year
Tell us about it.
has elevated to another level.
Oh.
The cover art on YouTube, the pre-show graphics. I'm just very proud of myself. And to be honest, I'm more disappointed that you fail to acknowledge it, but it's fun. You know?
It's such bullshit, you guys. I acknowledge it all the time. The amount of research and work and the way I literally talked to this about you off camera the other day.
I don't remember that.
Then start remembering.
You know, the other thing is like, it's one thing to do it privately, but publicly in front of our audience would be nice every once in a while. Like, how about, hey, Deuce, I like your new hat today.
I have to say this?
Look at this hat. Do you like this hat, dude?
Why do I have to say this on camera?
I just feel like I give you a lot of compliments and you give me nothing. Niley says, did you get that hat from pregame vintage, Deuce? I did. Although I have a brief, part of me doesn't think it's actually vintage, but I don't care because I like the hat. I didn't buy it because it was vintage. I saw them post on Instagram today. I'm like, the NBA 50 logo to me.
I was going to say, tell them what you told me earlier.
This may be weird to some. The NBA just celebrated its 75th anniversary last year, but the NBA 50 logo brings me back to my childhood. I remember the 50 greatest players, right, from All-Star Weekend, and this logo's cool. And I was like, I want that hat. I like hats. I enjoy wearing them. During the season, I don't wear them as often because at games, I don't wear them. I'm not Sean Cunningham. Sean actually has his hat
glued.
No, it's actually surgically attached to his head.
Like when he shampoos his head, it's actually the hat that he's shampooing.
Showers aren't Sean's thing.
Oh, got it.
I think he hoses down in cologne every once in a while. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to everyone here, by the way. We're going to start the podcast in just a second. Appreciate Joel for being here. Says, Deuce, your hat is dope. Appreciate that. Deuce put on the Kings hat. Come on, man.
Deuce has like so many Kings hats. Like, let him wear something else for
Let's
once,
give some love to people in chat, including Joe, Eric, Marquette Sack, The Bias, Ellis, Swagman, Brett's in the building with Forrest Lee. I mentioned Swagman. I mentioned Tyler. Adrian. Yo, Adrian. Ken, Tim, Jack. So good to be here with you guys. The Kings just recalled Chime Moneki from Stockton today. We got lots to discuss on the podcast today. We're going to sprinkle in some Kings. What's up, Felix? What's up, Steven? What's that Kings fan? Moshi, Sato, loyal, Sack, Kings fan, Yukin. Who else do we have? Stir Fried, I mentioned. Tan Man Dan. Appreciate you guys. You have anything you want to say before we start?
No, I'm ready to talk some hoops.
All right, do some mo. Coming down. 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Recording this on a Tuesday night.
Yes.
I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. The Kings are off till Thursday, but basketball never stops.
Nope.
Ball is life. We talk about it. Morgan, how you doing tonight?
Great. I love basketball. I love the NBA.
Well, we just got done watching the Pelicans-Mavericks, and walking into tonight, I was like, man, you got no Zion, no Ingram, Herb Jones is out. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being a fantastic game between the Pelicans and Mavs.
Especially because the Pelicans, you're seeing it. They're one of those teams that they're well coached. Willie Green gets the most out of them. And when you have guys that just battle out there, that type of basketball is so much fun to watch, even if you don't have a rooting interest in it. It's just great.
Yeah, and I feel like CJ's reputation maybe took a hit a bit before getting traded to
Totally did.
New Orleans. And like, he's that veteran, steady presence. Got off to a slow start tonight, but in the fourth, he's making big plays. They're deep. I saw Dyson Daniels come in and give them some minutes tonight, playing some good defense. Trey Murphy shooting. That Pelicans team, to get a win at home against the Mavericks, being that shorthanded, that does so much for a young team. And for those players to play in a close game down the stretch on national TV, the Pelicans are a problem.
Yeah. Again, without Zion, without Brandon Ingram.
Look at the balance in scoring tonight.
I know. And that's what's fun to see. And you talk about Murphy and just what he was capable of adding tonight. But McCollum, 6 of 20 from the field. You know,
and that's the other thing.
And they still get the win.
That tells you everything about the Pelicans. They miss all those guys tonight. And then you've got someone like McCollum who has an off night. But the balance is there. Murphy with 22. Najee Marshall drops 15. You had... That's insane. I'm looking at the box score right now because I have not seen it. You have 8 players score in double figures tonight.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. And I dig Willie Green. I dig the culture he is setting up. And that's a fun team to watch. And like, I mean, their potential is extremely high this year. Not an overreaction.
So then going to the other side, watching Dallas play.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same old crap at times when you're seeing Luka dribble it out until the close to the end of the shot clock. Boom. Okay. Dinwiddie do something. You know, it's somebody else figured out because I couldn't get something. And Pelicans did a good job of whatever their defensive assignment was on him. And that was toward the end, really denying the ball and not allowing him to go one-on-one with guys, making life so much harder for Luka, which is an obvious game plan, but not always something that's easy to execute. They did a really great job on that too.
I completely agree. And Fairweather Marvin in the Twitch chat says Pell's got some hidden depth. They do. Like what Dyson Daniels do, his final numbers today, 11 points on 4 or 5. He had 3 rebounds. He had 2 assists, 3 steals. That's a rookie.
Yeah.
We saw him playing the G League Ignite in the G League for the G League Ignite last year. And where he started early in the season compared to the end. I mean, we were talking about him as a possible Kings draft pick at one point because of what he can do. He can handle the ball. He's got good size, high IQ, plays defense, and he's someone that like can end up playing a significant role on this team later on in the season. But tonight he was asked to come in and play some minutes. He played well.
I wasn't expecting that this early on in the season, but again, injuries happen, weird injuries happen. You saw what happened the other night with Brandon Ingram, and now he has to go through the concussion protocol. And I think, what's her name? Stephanie Reddy? Before the game was doing a report on this.
What's her name?
No.
What's her name?
I didn't want to screw it up. I was like, it's Stephanie Reddy, right?
Yeah.
Ready, set, go. She was talking about how he hadn't even started the concussion protocols. So
Yeah.
It's like a slow start to it. And then once you start it, then it's days after that you can evaluate day by day if he's ready. So who knows how long that will be.
Nice win for the Pels tonight.
Yeah.
We got to talk a lot about the Kings and their 0-3 start. I was at Kings practice today. We'll sprinkle in some Stockton Media Day. We had a chance to talk to Bobby Jackson. A little bit about Keegan Murray, too, so we'll share that. We got a lot to go over today, plus some other NBA topics, including surprise teams. In the live chat, Brooke says she has a new Taylor theory.
Give it to us, bro, because I forget her one last year.
It wasn't last year. It was actually just like about a month and a
Oh,
half
you're
ago.
right.
It wasn't
Oh
that
my
long
God.
ago. She connected the dots to everything. But Taylor Swift came out with a new album, which, by the way, in our Discord, I got Brooke to admit that this Taylor Swift album is mid.
Damn, Swiftie admitted that?
In all fairness, I said mediocre.
Oh.
So I'm calling it mid.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to share that in the chat or hop in night chat later on, we can get to that. But the Kings practice today. What's the vibe like with the squad? They're now 0-3 on the season. Is it time to hit the panic button?
No.
Let's see what the live chat says on that.
Oh, you actually put yes. Okay.
The poll question tonight: are you worried about the Kings' 0-3 start? The options: 3 games, Deuce and Mo. 3 games.
I like it.
74% of people say that.
Uh-huh.
The other 26% say yes, hit the panic button.
Oh, stop it, you guys.
Here's what Mike Brown had to say about the 0-3 start at practice today.
I'm not looking at 0-3 as the end of the world. You go back and you look at the history of the league, and you'll see who started off hot. It all work itself out. We'll see around game 20, 22, 23 what's going on with the league. But as long as I feel we're trying to trend upwards in most areas, if not all areas, then I'm going to keep pushing. Even if we're going down, I'm going to keep pushing. But I like some of the things that we did against the Warriors. I like that we did not give up and we showed fight. Because at the end of the day, if you expect to have a winning culture and or a championship mentality, it doesn't matter what the score is. You got to keep fighting and keep grinding, and we did that both times the last 2 games against 2 very good teams.
So he says, 20, 22, 23 games in, you can have a better idea. StatMuse put something else out today saying, reminder that these teams made the playoffs last season despite slow starts. The Celtics started 2-5. The Pelicans started 1-12. The Hawks started 4-9. And the T-Wolves started 4-9. Morgan.
How many times does Morgan get crapped on for saying, hey, can I wait and see 20 games? Give me that 20 games.
I don't. You take a few people crapping on you as the majority.
The world.
And it's not.
Millions.
I think it's a pretty common thing for people around the league. Go, yeah, give me 20, 25 game sample size. You get a real good idea.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I was crapped on. But Mike Brown and I, same kind of like basketball minds, so I get it. And I like what we saw here when you showed that StatMuse tweet with what some teams did last year. And it's so true. And it's so early on. And that's why when people do hit the panic button early, especially with a team with a brand new head coach and a lot of new philosophies being implemented into this offense and this defense, it's like, hey, slow it down. Happened last year. Happens every year.
Well, Mike Brown said, it's not time to overreact, guys.
The one thing that I do know about being part of this team is, because of the I guess the lack of playoffs in 16 years, there's a little bit of anxiety around here, and I would caution everybody. There's a time to overreact and a time not to. And after 3 games for me, and I hope everybody takes my lead, it's not time to. There may come a certain point in the season where, we got to figure something out drastically. But right now, no. As long as we're trending the right way, we're busting our behind, we're supporting each other as teammates, we're embracing our role, and we're truly trying to come to the gym, whether it's shoot around, practice a game, trying to get better as a group. Hey, that's all I can ask for right now.
My question when he said the whole anxiety thing, was he talking about the fans inside the building a little bit or a little bit of both? And his whole thing was follow my lead at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you. Look, 0-3 is not ideal. All right. You don't want to start 0-3 in a season. Who wants that? But
No.
I'm also realistic enough to go, yeah, I thought they would be 1-2 at this point. So now what you got to do is probably win a game that you're maybe not supposed to win.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's exactly it. Because I feel like we also have to go by, eye test. 0-3 and you're the Lakers. Like, they're playing some of the ugliest basketball I've ever seen in NBA history. 0-3 and you're the Kings. Okay, you're seeing competitive basketball being played. You're seeing guys grow and get better. You're seeing adjustments being made in that competitive game being played all throughout, just like he was saying in that first clip. I'll take it right now.
In the chat, Steven says fans were booing on Saturday against the Clippers. People panicking. LOL. I think that booing happened after Barnes missed a free throw.
Oh, yeah.
There was frustration about the free throws.
Yeah.
Another thing Mike Brown said today, and he's not the first coach to say this, but he tries to break up the season into mini seasons, like 5-game chunks. This is how he looks at it.
I want our guys to stay locked in and understand that this is a marathon, right? It's not a sprint, but in the same breath, we can't be worried about game 75 when we're only in game 3. Like right now, I can't be, oh shit. I hope I can say that, but oh shit, we're 0-3. The season's in the toilet right now. No. Okay, let's look at these 5 games. Let's see what we do these 5 games. All right. Now, if we go 1-4, 0-5, whatever it is, let's see if we can do a little bit better. But don't think about game 45. Don't think about game 72. Don't think about the playoffs right now. Let's be present in what we're doing. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, like I said, is to highlight or break the season up into mini seasons so everybody knows what's in front of them right now and they're not getting overwhelmed with where we are currently and how it's going to impact us 3 months from now.
I know the Kings do have a mental coach on their team, like a mental health coach, I think, mental strength, however you want to put it. And he very much challenges the players, be present in the moment. Like literally in this time frame.
How much does he cost? I want one of those.
What? A mental strength coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be so much better at life. Just follow me around. Hey, are you present? Are you present?
99% of the time. No, I am not. I'm thinking about 800 other things right now.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, of course Mike should be saying this. Coach Mike Brown should be saying this right now. Like, yeah, it's 0-3. Like, there's been some good, there's been some bad. That 50-point quarter that the Warriors had, the 89-point first half that they had the other night, not good. No. But there's been some good things that have happened in this stretch. I think there's been signs that the offense, okay, there's some potential here. The shooting from some guys hasn't been good, but the assist numbers are high. The ball's moving. Those are encouraging signs that De'Aaron Fox is playing well.
I haven't felt worried about the team as a whole, especially with what we're watching with some more competitive basketball. It's more individual play that, again, you go, okay, you're 3 games in. How do you assess this individual play? But when something's wrong, you're just like, what's off? What's off about them? It's not like, oh, they're just not rebounding or, oh, they're not just making their free throws. Something feels off. And the 2 that it feels off with is obviously Domantas Sabonis and Harrison Barnes right now. And that's tough because those are 2 that not only us, but I feel like fans, media, national people have had high expectations for going into this season. Like, hey, not only for De'Aaron Fox, you got better pieces around you, but even for those guys, hey, you got a better roster around you. How are you going to capitalize on that? And they're not capitalizing on it early.
Well, Harrison Barnes is a name that's being talked about a lot right now because through 3 games, he's averaging 7 points a game.
Yeah.
He's doing it on 36% shooting. He has not made a 3 this season. He was 2 of 16 from 3 during the preseason. Another startling number at the free throw line. A guy last year who not only averaged 16.4 points a game, but he shot 82.6% from the free throw line. This season at the line, Morgan, you can call it sample size. He is shooting 53.8% from the free throw line. I want to look at the actual totals of free throws. Let's see here. Well, it's funny. The free throws don't match his totals here. Here we go. Oh, no. Yes, he is 7 of 13 from the line. So taking 13, he's taking over 4 a game. Anyway, One note at practice today. At the end of practice, of course, the team's working on their free throw shooting, as they do like every time. There was a group that was kind of stationed in front of us on the side where the media congregates to wait for the post practice press conference or whatever. And so it's Sabonis shooting free throws and it's Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes at the line makes his first. He makes his second. And it was a clear, like
thank God I
sigh
made that.
of relief.
Yeah.
Like, he is feeling it right now. I think, and he may be talking to the media on Wednesday at practice. So I'm curious to see where he's at with his free throw shooting, how much of it's mental. But after practice, Mike Brown was asked about the struggles of Harrison Barnes.
So the first thing is obviously I think Thomas might have had 14 rebounds in the last game. But if you take the first 2 games, HB was leading us at the small forward spot in rebounds. He's leading the team in rebounds. And so there are some things that he's doing that aren't sexy or that may not show up in the stat sheet. And everybody's looking at his three-point shoot and the scoring and all that other stuff, when there are other things out there that he is doing to give him an opportunity to continue to stay on the floor for long stretches at a time. So, a guy like HB, I'm starting him, I'm bringing him out quick, I'm putting him back in, and most times I'm putting him back in, but sometimes I'm not putting him back in, in a half. And that's probably a little different than what he's had in the past. He's, as a veteran guy that has been able to score in this league, he's had an opportunity to play a long stretch initially, and that long stretch usually allows a guy like that to get in rhythm. On top of that, we've thrown a completely new offense, as you guys probably have known already, especially going through the little mini camp over there. We've thrown a new offense that's a read and react offense, and so he's not always getting the ball in his sweet spots too, to get an easy look, because if you get an easy look early, usually that starts a snowball effect or it gets the dominoes to fall. So there are some things that over time, when he gets used to what we're doing out on the floor, not only that, we get used to what we're doing on the floor as a coaching staff, where we can put him in a spot or two to possibly get him an easy bucket early to start those dominoes to fall.
I appreciate Mike Brown's transparency when breaking down a player's game, the team's game, whatever, because he just breaks it down in basketball terms. And it's so true when you're looking at Harrison Barnes and you're seeing this vet who's used to being like, hey, here's a long stretch, find your rhythm, find your flow, find your offense. We're just talking about the offensive side right now, right? And right now he's like, well, if you're not giving me that and you're not giving me what I need on defense, you're going to have shorter stretches. So what are you going to do in those shorter stretches? And just like anybody in this league, even if you're playing at a high level, when you get new teammates thrown at you, new offenses, just like Mike Brown was talking about, it's still going to take time to learn how to play with certain personnel within that offense. And I think Harrison Barnes in his teammates aren't sure how to play with him in that offense just quite yet. But I think it's something they can figure out.
And he's a guy that in the past, you've been able to go a little ISO with him,
sure,
let him work on the wing. He's comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And now this is something different. Although I personally think in some ways it can make life easier for him.
Agreed.
It's definitely different, though, for a guy that's like, hey, usually, hey, give me the ball, let me go to work here and do something. Now it is a read and react. Some of the shots have just been short. And I know there's just huge talk, in the last couple of days. Hey, you got to bench him. You got to do this. I think Harrison Barnes has earned an opportunity to get out of a funk.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know a lot of people want Keegan in the starting lineup, and we can talk about that in a little bit when we look at the Kings-Grizzlies on Thursday. But it's been 3 games. Let's see what HB can do offensively. Defensively has been a big struggle for him to start the season too. I do think you give him some time to work some things out. And then, of course, as the season goes on, it's like Brown was saying, all right, 5-game chunks here. All right, we may have to make some tweaks now. We may have to make some adjustments. So,
and I'll say this because I see someone in the chat, Sato says, if I got it right, the problem is HB's non-existent defense. Stop coddling vets. And here's my pushback on that. It's, yes, we have seen coaches coddle veterans. Mike Brown is going to shoot it to you straight, but you guys, at the end of the day, there's still humans and personalities that you are working with, and you have to still manage even the personality side of things the right way, because you want that person to grow and be utilized the right way to capitalize on all of their abilities. And I think with Harrison Barnes, it's like, here's your longer leash, figure it the F out, because we could use you out there. There's things that you're capable of doing. And I think for him offensively too, I think it's like, you're a bigger body. Be more of a willing cutter. Bash into guys with your body.
Yeah, and I've noticed this, that the Kings do run some action where whoever's running the point, like, so let's say it's Fox, and Brown believes that 1 through 4 positions are interchangeable. So let's just say Kevin Huerter's bringing up the ball.
Yep.
But in this instance, Fox is bringing up the ball. He'll drive to the corner, and the person that's stationed in the corner
pushes them through.
Will go through to the other side. What I'm noticing, though, for maybe a backdoor layup, but what I'm noticing, not just from Harrison Barnes, but others, you're not cutting with a purpose. You're not cutting to be a threat. I'm seeing a lot of guys kind of just jog
go
back
through
there.
the motion. Yeah, and it's a motion offense.
It is, but
do that cut with a purpose, and that could create an easy 2 points, and or even defense collapsing because they go, oh shit, this guy every time is going to have a backdoor cut here.
But what's challenging, though, is for players sometimes is, hey, I'm going to cut with a purpose, right?
Yeah.
With some authority.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get the ball. You know what I mean? And you could tell me it's not a thing, but it is a thing.
Oh, I wasn't going to tell you it's a thing. It's 100% a thing, Deuce. But that is the thing with this team. You're now playing with a higher IQ team in willing passers, willing cutters, and people are going smarter, and they're going to find you. Yeah. They're capable of finding you. Keegan is a smart passer. Sabonis, we know what he's capable of. De'Aaron Fox, you know that now he's looking up so much more, and he even said that to me at media days. Like, yeah, I think one of the things that people don't bring up enough about me is my playmaking abilities. But he needs to show it off more, but that teammates also need to trust him, and then that's when they're also going to be cutting with the purpose and strong and how they're supposed to be doing it.
And I know we're speaking right now about Harrison Barnes, but you take a step back, the thing that I keep pointing to when people talk about, hey, the offense isn't doing this, it's not doing this. I'm like, yeah, it's not perfect yet. When you've got, like you said, new players and a new coaching staff, the start of the season is going to be rough. And by the way, you're trying to accomplish this against some pretty damn good teams. All of a sudden, Portland's 4-0 now. You're looking at that going, man, you compete against them. The Clippers are pretty damn talented. And then, of course, the Golden State Warriors, who you talk about running a motion offense, those guys know how to play with each other. They've been doing it for literally years, and they have elite level talent.
Yep.
With all that said, the Kings scored 71 points in the first half against the Warriors. And I'm not ignoring the 89 points. We did literally let our podcast after the game talking about the 89 points. But when I go, yeah, they allowed 89 points and they were only down 18, that's insane because they were able to score the ball. They still put up 125 points. The assist numbers have been really encouraging to me. And that is with, let's be honest about this, 2 of your starters at this point have been non-factors offensively in Harrison Barnes and KZ Okpala. Zeros offensively.
Correct.
And Sabonis has not been as effective as I think he can be offensively. How many times he has missed shots around the rim like easy looks.
The bunnies.
So my whole point is it's looked all right so far. And there's so many things that can get better. It's got to get better soon, but there's some things to build on.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's things to build on. Where in years past, you see so many dumb things happen. I'm just going to define it as that. Dumb things happening on the floor, whether it was with shot selection or guys truly not understanding to be 2 steps over in the key when you're in help to just slide on over and be vertical with a guy, bump him with your body instead of using your arms. Like just simple things when you're playing the NBA that should be better. And now you're seeing it with this squad that it's there. Things are there and guys are willing to buy in and do things the right way. There's still going to be a lot more tweaks and a lot more growth, and I'm excited for it.
And with Harrison, I don't need him to score 16 a game. What I think Sacramento needs out of him is to be adequate defensively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be a good team defender. not get destroyed by other wings. And the help has to be there too. The guys have to help him out too. You have to help with his shortcomings. But offensively, I just need him to knock down the open shot. You know, he's going to get some open looks this year. Some of his threes have been short. I've mentioned this number 800 times that people who listen to our podcast are probably sick of it by now.
Okay.
But the guy's been a 40% free throw shooter in his time in Sacramento.
40% 3-point shooter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And if he can shoot 37%, I don't care. You know, just you're going to get good looks. And then the free throw stuff, you just hope that he can get over this because it doesn't make sense that a guy who's been an 80% free throw shooter in his career to be shooting 3%. It makes no sense.
Yeah. And I mean, people have heard those analogies before with mentally, but you think about like a golf swing and that you get one chance, right? One golf swing, no one's in front of you, no one's guarding you, you get one golf swing. It's so mental. There's so much about it that is mental. And I think with Harrison Barnes, all the fundamentals are there. But mentally, when he's fatigued, what's going on up there?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's mostly where the problem is, and I'm not sure why.
Shout out to everyone watching us live right now. We appreciate you guys being here on a non-game night. You guys could be doing other things, but you're hanging with us. We appreciate it. We'll be live again after Kings-Grizzlies on Thursday night. We'll talk about that game in a second. Shout out to Strictly Kevin, who says, nice hat, Deuce. B Well says, Deuce, that hat is fresh. Just saying.
Oh. Look at that.
Lacey says, what's up, Deuce and Mo?
What's up?
Brett in the chat says that this chat is rough. Deuce and Mo, catch you later. Here's my advice for people who are get irritated by the chat sometimes. You can hide chat.
Ooh.
You can.
You can hide it.
Yes.
You can hide it. We don't.
Armstrong Joseph says, I've seen that hat at the bottom of a bin at Goodwill. Well, dude, you should pick it up out of the bin at Goodwill and sell it for like $50.
Seriously.
On eBay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing at this vintage place.
Will Z says, any chance of getting a playback watch party on a non-Kings game night? Yeah, there's definitely a chance. Let's just say we're trying to ease into the season with the schedule that lies ahead. We have a lot of things coming up on the horizon, and we are going to be very busy. Yeah. So we're trying to pace ourselves. We're taking the Kawhi approach to the season.
Yeah.
No back-to-backs. Like
it's so true. Trying to work on ourselves mentally and physically, making that a priority as well.
Yes.
So no, we'll definitely be doing more of that stuff too.
So we talked about Harrison. The one guy that has been really unbelievable with his play has been De'Aaron Fox. And with the exception of the 8 turnover game,
sure,
the guy's been locked in. Here's what Mike Brown had to say about De'Aaron's start to the season.
I like the way that he's approached the season. I like the way he's trying to take on a leadership role. I like the way that he's allowed me to coach him. A prime example against the Clippers, he misses a trap the box. They get a dunk. 5-6 plays later, he goes over there, he goes vertical, and if they score it, it's still a great play. But they end up missing it, which gives us a chance to win the game. So he is making tremendous progress, and I'm going to stay on his behind, and he's going to keep pushing himself to continue to climb upwards.
I love it. I love you're hearing that De'Aaron Fox is making an in-game adjustment defensively early on in the season. That alone should be encouraging for people because that's something we didn't really see.
Consistently. He's always had, he's always had the potential to be a really talented defensive player.
Deuce, I'm talking about in-game adjustments.
Yeah.
You would see it. That's the thing. You would see it like, oh, okay, 3 games later, he figured it out. Okay. Oh, and then he lost it again. No, you're absolutely right. And just on a consistent level right now, 3 games in, be encouraged.
And when you talk about defensive, again, I feel like we always have to say this as the first week of the season. It's like, hey, here's some context here, sample size. It's early.
Yep.
It's early for all numbers. We know this. But I look at deflections, and it's a number I'm going to watch with him all year long. Right now, he's 3rd in the NBA in deflections.
Love to see it.
Let me read you some of the guys around him, and you're going to be impressed.
Okay.
Anthony Davis, 5 deflections a game.
Okay.
Tied with Paul George at 5. De'Aaron technically in 2nd, actually. He's tied with DeJounte Murray. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's at 4.5. Jalen Brunson's up there. Van Vliet. My point is you have guys who are known with being active defensively.
Yeah.
And De'Aaron's in that category to start this season. The Kings defense has a long ways to go. That's going to be, to me, the part during the season that's going to take some time. I know Anthony Slater wrote a piece today in The Athletic. I told Anthony, I'm like, please keep writing about the Kings.
He's so good.
And he's like, hey, as long as they win, I'll write about them. I'm like, well, they haven't won. Yeah. But he also was like, hey, yeah, it's great when you guys share it because it shows Kings fans are super into the content. And
Keep reading that shit.
Yeah. So if you don't have an Athletic subscription, I highly suggest you do it if you're into the NBA.
It's so good.
Anthony Slater, every once in a while, it's like every 2.5 months, will write about the Kings when they're bad.
Yeah.
But the one piece he had today was talking about the Kings defense. And he was making the point that the Kings are 20th in defensive rating right now. And that's including that Warriors game where they gave up a ton of points in the first half. He highlighted De'Aaron Fox and the adjustment that Mike Brown alluded to.
Yeah.
But the other guy he talked about, Keegan Murray. And I think Keegan's defense is not only surprising people who are watching the game, like just fans like us, it's surprising the coaching staff to see his impact defensively.
Yeah. You guys, he's doing everything from really getting low, sitting down in a stance, but then also being this big player when his size is needed in the middle, whether it's staying with an established player in this league or whoever the hell he needs to switch on. He is executing his defensive assignments. Now, not every single time. We've seen some breakdowns, of course, but in the 2 games that he has played in this season, it's there. And the fact that he can just get better and better as a rookie on the defensive end is amazing.
The fact that in that Clippers game, his NBA debut, after being away from the game for 10 days because he had COVID, late in the game, a close game at home, they trust him enough to put him on Paul George. And not only, hey, they put him on Paul George, he did a good job on Paul George, a guy who dropped 40 in that game. Late in the game, the Kings went, we got to get him off. They had Barnes come out. They got the switch that they wanted.
Yeah.
But my point is, I thought Keegan competed on that end. He is just so smart. His rotations are there. He's great with his hands, deflections.
He's also very disciplined. And you're seeing that's why his arms, his verticality, he stays up even if he jumps and is in the air, he just stays straight up because he's just truly disciplined fundamentally in so many different ways on the defensive end. I just love that he's capable of switching on to even smaller guys and showing them his jersey, staying in front of them. And then you see the way that he's trying to work in like a pick and roll. His size, he uses his size to his advantage, and it's just exciting to see like what he can continue to do against some of these great players in the NBA.
We got to look ahead to Kings and Grizzlies in a second. I do want to give some love to the people in the chat, including Shane, who says, mark my words, Malik will be the difference. Can I just say this? Shane Henry in our chat, I feel like he's relatively new since Malik Monk came here.
Oh, yeah?
Shane is the biggest Malik Monk fan
I
I've
love
ever
it.
met.
I love it. He needs you, man, because you know his down games right now. Well, I don't. It's
He was
just,
better against the Warriors.
He was.
Yeah.
It's more just not being able to find his flow. But small sample size, I'm sure he'll be just fine finding that as well.
Shout out to Steven who says, is that wine, Deuce? How fancy. Yeah, I'm sipping a little wine tonight. You know, it's Tuesday night, just hanging out, feeling good.
Tuesday night, wine night.
Armstrong Joseph says, Deuce, I'll bet you shaven eyebrows, we don't win 30 games. So you're saying if the Kings win 30 games, you will shave your eyebrows? Sure. You can do that for sure. We can make that bet.
You won't.
Yeah. Also, shout out Lorraine Fox in the building. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Leezy, any thoughts on Thunder beating the Clippers? Had a 21-0 run. You know, I didn't even see that game, so it's hard for me to say. The Clippers were extremely shorthanded tonight, though. No Paul George. He was out. No Morris and no Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them in just a second. I should mention that tonight, brought to you by our friends over at the Detail Pros of Sacramento. Auto detailing made easy. Hit up our guy, Nick. He's a big Kings fan. 1. 2, you will go there. Your car's going to look great inside and out. It's not like a standard car wash. Nick is going to make your car look sexy.
He's an artist. He's elite. He knows how to execute the mission in front of him.
If he was an artist, what artist would he be?
What do you mean? No, he's
like a painter, like a Van Gogh type?
No, Van Gogh's like a little bit. It's like a little abstract kind of.
Let's
messy.
not talk art. We have no idea what we're talking about.
I mean, we could kind of.
No.
I did take art history. Anyway, he's very.
Everyone took art history
in college.
Yes.
Really? Okay. Who's the one that does really straight lines and everything's very clean? He's that artist. He's.
Really put him over. Anyway, just hit up Nick, thedetailprosack.com. Tell him, hey, I heard about you on Deuce and Mo podcast. He'll be like, dude, I'm going to upgrade you with a paint sealant. And that's worth $125. I'm going to give it to you for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, free. So hit him up, 916-340-4317, 916-340-4317, or thedetailprosack.com. Also, what's this? A new Deuce and Mo website, deuceandmo.com, upgraded, and new merch.
We're adults and professional. Yeah.
Look, we got stickers, we got shirts, we got hoodies, we got the OG stuff. That's great. We have the Nick Why Not shirt.
Oh, yeah?
That money we make off Why Not goes directly to Special Olympics NorCal. Also, we've got the Deuce and Mo Tower Records edition and our brand new logo. Oh, it's sexy. And we got this like alternate logo. We also have a night chat shirt. It's all at deuceandmo.com. It's a cool way to rep the podcast and support us. So check out deuceandmo.com. Click on merch to get your merch today.
Also, great website. If anything's ever wrong with your stuff, whether you put it in the dryer and it's like, something crinkles or something, they'll send you something brand new.
Exactly. All right, Morgan, let's talk some Kings-Grizzlies. Coming up on Thursday, I was really eager to watch the Grizzlies. They were coming off an ugly loss to Dallas the other night, and this is how the NBA works. Dallas destroys Memphis, and then they lose to a Pelicans team without Zion, Herb Jones, CJ hasn't played well, and no Ingram. Weird. And then Memphis last night takes on the Nets at home, and what a game that was,
So
dude.
fun.
One, the intensity from the start was chippy. Dylan Brooks returned. Didn't make much of an impact, but God, he and KD were going at it.
Love to see it.
You have Kyrie and Durant score 30+. Morant and Bane each scored 38 points. Morgan, Reagan.
I like just really quick because I know we're going to talk so much more Grizzlies because the Kings are taking them on Thursday. But with the Nets, some of the incredible shot making from Kyrie and KD, especially toward the end of that game. KD getting to his spots, making whatever the hell he wants. But then Kyrie, in the way that he is just so crafty and create, what we are witnessing sometimes, like no matter how you feel about Kyrie Irving off the court, what you're witnessing as just a point guard in this league is just absolutely incredible. And I love watching him on the court. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And there was battling going on everywhere. But Steven Adams, man, he was just getting every rebound, kicking everyone out of that paint.
Ja Morant, 38 points, 12 of 22 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3. He is getting to the point where he seems unguardable. There are times where I'm like, what's he doing there? Step back 3 in. And then there's times he's attacking the rim where you're like, oh, this is not going to be a good opportunity. It's like, oh, he is so explosive.
He stops in the air, though.
He's leading the league in scoring, by the way, at 35 a game.
Makes sense. The way he's been scoring is...
I've been so mixed about him at times because last year the Grizzlies played well without him. And you're
Sure.
like, how much? Dude, he is borderline unguardable now. And you talk about a guy that gets in the paint, and the Kings have had such issues in the pick and roll. You know, one thing with Adams, his two-man game with Jaws there, he's such a great screener. But now Memphis can go small on you.
Yeah.
Santiago Aldama was in there with Brandon Clark. They can go really small, and that's my big concern with Sacramento in this game is like, are they going to try to play Sabonis off the floor? Because, like, one, Adams can bang with Sabonis for sure. He's so strong. Who was the player he just picked up last year? Remember, he just, like, picked him up, no problem.
I forget who that was.
But they're having some success going small, and Brandon Clark is a freak.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys on this squad that can do a lot for this Grizzlies team. And it doesn't matter how they're playing, if they're playing with the big, if they're playing small ball. But you look at the way that they went small and they could still execute. That was something that wasn't working for them as much in the postseason last year, which is why obviously they got knocked out when they had to switch up the rotation and keep Steven Adams on the bench. Didn't start him, and then at times wasn't even playing him. They're starting to figure out what they need to do in that situation now already in this next season, and they're executing it. But going back to Ja Morant, especially in that two-man game, the way that he flies, stays up in the air, and could decide, do I want to shoot this? Do I want to pass this? Do I want to just dish it off to the big right here? He gives himself so much time and so many choices that you're right. It almost becomes unguardable. It's been quite fun to watch, but very scary thinking about what they're going to do Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the staying in the air thing. How many times last night it was like a mid-range jumper? Last second, he allowed the defender to land, and he waited patiently, got off just in time, bang. Right. And the same thing, he has the ability to just stay in the air forever and make a play.
You know how scary it is for coaches when they have a player that leaves their feet all the time and you're like, hey, don't leave your feet. Ja Morant can leave his feet because he is up there for 3 more seconds than anyone else is going to be up in the air with him.
Meanwhile, Desmond Bane, dude, was just lethal.
Making everything.
I mean, I don't expect he's going to have 38, but dude, the fact that you have 2 guys that can drop 38 in the same game. And Dylan Brooks was, like I said, a non-factor in his first game back. So, look, they're hanging tough. They're hanging really tough. I mean, I love Tyus Jones as their backup.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to bring up, too, was the Fox-Morant head-to-head. And the numbers are interesting. Of course, like, Fox has the age at, he's been in the league longer.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox against Ja Morant, 22.5 points game, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals. Morant against the Kings, 18 points, 7 assists, 2.3 rebounds. But I guess my caution on that is you look at the matchups. It's not like let's see here. Let's look at last year. That will help. They played each other once last year. Fox, and this was in December, 12 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. Morant, 18, 9, and 7. This is a different Ja Morant. You know what I mean? This is going to be an interesting battle, and I can't wait to see it because Fox is playing great basketball. Fox is near the top of the NBA in scoring. And then you got Ja Morant, number 1 in scoring.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And it's been so...
Go at it.
It's been interesting how over the years people pin them against each other like they have the same game. And I think so many people just saw it as, oh, they're really quick. They're really explosive. But their games are different. Ja Morant has been hitting his shot for a little bit longer, right? Like, that hasn't been part of De'Aaron Fox's game. Now, you're looking at the beginning of the season, Fox's shots, they're going in. What is that going to do for him in Thursday's game? Is he still going to be that outside threat that they need him to be? That would be nice, especially with whatever Memphis is going to throw at them defensively, if it is going to be Steven Adams playing a lot or Aldama.
We've given De'Aaron love for his defensive engagement. I'm not saying he's looked like an all-defensive player. Let's not go that far. But I'm excited to see kind of his focus going into that game because it's a big game. Like, you can't tell me that De'Aaron Fox doesn't hear the noise about Ja Morant, and you can't tell me that De'Aaron doesn't hear about like the top players under 25 and he's not even really on anybody's radar anymore.
Yeah, and I think when you do look at Thursday, then it's going to be like, look, your perimeter defense needs to be locked in. The pressure needs to be there because Ja Morant is going to get by people, but if you can slow his ass down, then you're going to better yourself. You're going to better your help. But then the other thing is, look at the game against the Warriors, the shitty transition defense by the Kings.
Well, and they got destroyed in the pick and roll too, right? Whether it was with Wiseman, I mean,
you just those are mistakes that are. It's an easy fix. It's an effort thing. It's more of a lazy thing when you're not getting back on defense, allowing guys to just get easy transition buckets. And the Warriors are smart and know how to just capitalize on that. But with a team like the Grizzlies, you got to get up in them for all 48 minutes. And it doesn't matter if you're tired, next guy in mentality.
Yeah, and they have some athletes. They've got some good size. I mean, that lob Morant threw to I think it was Morant threw to Brandon Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. Morant had a sick alley-oop jam. I'm like, not many people can make that play. The athleticism is insane. But, I think the one thing, Morant's going to have trouble defending Fox. I'm really curious in some of the matchups coming up on Thursday. That'll be fun.
Because even I go, okay, we've talked about this a few times. Steven Adams, much bigger body. Is he going to push Sabonis out of his spot so Sabonis doesn't get it at the high post where
and then
he
they
wants
go
to get
small.
it to create? Right. And let's say they go small with Aldama on Sabonis. Sabonis got to body that guy up and go up strong. Make the bunnies. Make the bunnies.
Yep.
That's another tough one.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Do you think Keegan Murray starts on
Yes.
Thursday night? Yeah, I do too. There's so much being made about it today. It's kind of mind-boggling to me. Like, Keegan did not start the preseason, which whatever. Yeah, make him earn it. I don't really care. And he plays the first 2 games, plays really well. He missed the final 2 preseason games because of COVID. I kind of think he was going to be the opening night starter now that I think about it. Like, I think it probably was tracking that way. But then you missed the 2 games and they start the season. Whatever. He's 2 games back. The thing that I think keeps getting lost in this is, like, 1, he's going to be the starter eventually. 2, he is leading the Kings in minutes per game. He is averaging 35.5 minutes a game. He played 33 in his NBA debut off the bench. And then in the second night of a back-to-back, he plays 38 minutes. I think he's going to start in place of KZ coming up on Thursday. But it's just some of the stuff out there today. I was getting a little Twitter exchange today about it. I'm like, what is this deal? Like,
well, and I think some people forget too that Mike Brown hasn't been a head coach for a little bit. So what's his new philosophy as a head coach on rookies, right? Every coach have their weird things. We saw last year Tibbs, when Cam Reddish came to the squad, wasn't even playing at times, which was really stupid. So even with Mike Brown, I was like, okay, if he's not going to start Keegan, I just need some help understanding why, but maybe he has some sort of basketball reason why he's not starting him. It sounds like it was more of what was going on with the health and safety protocols and everything.
Also
which
with KZ,
good.
like,
yeah,
KZ, I can understand the thought process. Like, hey, maybe we don't know what Keegan Murray is totally defensively. And
well,
we know
he has
KZ can defend.
versatility.
Yeah,
so yeah,
exactly. And I think what the Kings are learning now is like, oh, Keegan Murray has defensive versatility that maybe we didn't think he did. Hell, Mike Brown's quote the other day before the game, Slater put it in his piece in The Athletic. The quote was, "I'm not sure what he could be defensively yet. I'm learning something new every day." That's the head coach of the team saying that. He said, when we first drafted him, I thought he was going to be a power forward. By the end of summer league, I thought he might be a 2, 3, or 4. I don't know what he is now, but he's a baller. He can ball for a young man. It doesn't stop with his ability to shoot the ball. I think he is a very, very good two-way guy who could possibly guard a lot of positions sooner than later.
Yeah.
And Keegan's even admitted himself, he was saying like, yeah, I've just gotten better defensively since college.
Yeah.
The guy, we were at Stockton Kings Media Day yesterday, and we were on the side talking to Bobby Jackson for like 20 minutes.
Bobby's the best.
Second-year head coach with Stockton, and of course he was with Sacramento during training camp. What you guys may not know about Bobby, and I think some of you guys might know, Bobby is a straight shooter. If you ask Bobby Jackson a question, this might be one of it. You may remember this from TV. If you ask when he was doing TV, if you ask him a question, he's not going to sugarcoat it. He's not going to be like, well, he's got to keep working on, blah, blah. No, he's going to be like, oh, no, this guy sucks. Or this guy doesn't bring it.
He doesn't lie to you ever.
I was like, so, hey, do you like Keegan? He goes, oh. He's like, he's a hooper. I'm like, yeah? He goes, oh, he is. He goes, how many plays do you have to run for him? I'm like, well, they don't really run plays. He goes, exactly. He knows the right spots to be in.
Yep.
He brings it every day. He says he's super competitive. Like, don't let like his kind of calm demeanor fool you.
Yeah.
He brings it. I've asked Bobby Jackson about players before.
Yeah.
And he's been very critical at times about certain guys. I was shocked by his praise. I'm like, oh my God. He was
like, Bobby,
super
are
high.
you okay?
What do you think about what he said?
Yeah, I felt the same way because we've talked to Bobby before about so many different players, whether it's G League, whether it's NBA, and he gives it to you straight. And the way that he was excited to talk about Keegan's game and him just being a hooper was like everything. Trust your eyeballs, people. Everything you're seeing is actually what is there. And that's why too, I can understand why people are like, yeah, this guy needs to start. And it's like Mike Brown understands, yeah, this guy needs to start.
But the other thing that I think is getting missed in that conversation is one, the last time I checked, Keegan's not sitting on the bench for 8 minutes. Dude, he's come in quick in both games.
Yep.
Like the first 3 minutes. And the counter would be, well, just to start him. It's like, they will. They're going to start him. I mean, I think that's going to happen. So, one, he's playing a shit ton of minutes. I think there's this, like, this whole thing with starting like it's a quarterback. Like, I can't believe he's the best quarterback. Why aren't you starting him? It's like, dude, we're 2 games in the season. The guy just came back from COVID. He played back-to-back games. He's leading the team in minutes. He's closing games. He's a huge piece to this team. It's fine. He's going to play a lot of minutes. He's playing impactful minutes too. So just tap the brakes. Relax.
That's it.
Relax.
That's it. Yeah. And again, I was excited to see, like we already said, what KZ could add with his defensive versatility, because it was like, okay, are you going to need Keegan in that second unit and just stagger the rotation? And it's like, nah, Keegan's that guy. You start him, and it's exciting to see that that's what they feel too.
Because they're not losing anything defensively by starting Keegan.
That's exactly it.
And they gain so much offensively by starting him. That's the one thing with KZ where he's been a non-factor offensively.
Yep.
Yeah, he's at a corner 3, and he doesn't have to be like taking 10 shots a night. But like when guys aren't guarding you, it just clogs up the paint, right? They're sagging off you. It makes it really challenging at times. And like we said earlier, when Barnes is being a non-factor offensively and KZ, well, no wonder why the offense hasn't totally looked smooth
Part
the
of
whole
the
time.
reason.
There's a reason why Sabonis may not be getting kind of the same type of looks at the elbow, right? Everything's clogged and he's not able to spray the ball out to shooters. But one thing that was noteworthy at practice today, Keegan was wearing like the black jersey and they have different color jerseys for when they scrimmage. He was wearing the black jersey, the same as the rest of the starters.
Yeah.
Also, the thing that gets lost for some.
What?
He started the second half against the Warriors.
Right. He came out, started. And by the way, that was after in that Warriors game, just like Deuce had already said, that first timeout made by Mike Brown. Boom. Rotated in. Kings went on an 8-0 run. And then to start that second half, he was in that starting lineup. So, yeah, he's going to start Thursday, and I'm excited for...
Well, you're saying he's going to start Thursday.
I know I shouldn't say that so confidently, but he's going to start Thursday.
A couple of Stockton Kings related notes. For those who don't know, I do play-by-play for the Stockton Kings. Morgan's a color analyst for the NBA G League and the Stockton Kings, and so we were at Media Day. A couple of noteworthy things that maybe the hardcore of hardcore will care about. Keegan Murray. Chime Moneki will be kind of back and forth at times this year. So if he's not in the rotation, you can anticipate that he'll get some run in Stockton this season. Keon Ellis is going to get a lot of a run. He's the rookie who's on a 2-way contract. Kata, of course, there too. DJ Stewart is someone that some fans may know. He played on Stockton last year. He went to Duke, came out after 1 year. The biggest thing that we've noticed is just he's gotten a lot stronger.
Yeah.
He said he gained 15 pounds of muscle.
Skinnier frame. And so then he's like, just looking at him, he's like, yeah, I gained 15 pounds in the offseason. He's sweetest guy. And just is so crafty in his ability to get to the basket. I think he's learning more and more with how to work with his size and be like, okay, sometimes I can't get all the way to the rack. So what do I need to do? Work on my floater, work on things I can do to make sure that I'm elevating over the bigger guys and getting my shot up. And yeah, we saw a lot more of that improvement even last year. So I'm excited to see what he can do this year.
And talking to Bobby, he says they're going to run like the same motion offense in Stockton. They'll a lot of pick and roll late in games he was talking about, but Keon Ellis is a fun player to watch.
That's going to be the guy that gets their transition. He's going to get everything going in their transition offense because, my God, he's going to be playing so much defense at such a high level. I just envision him with all the deflections, all the steals. It's going to be a fun, fast-paced Stockton Kings game. Nerd out with us, man. Nerd out.
All right, we need to bounce around the NBA a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about some surprise starts in the league.
Ooh.
I was really wrong about Portland so far. I don't think Portland is going to like keep up. I don't think they're going to be near the top of the Western Conference when it's all said and done. But they are 4-0 right now. They've had some close calls down the stretch, but they've won games. Last night they absolutely destroyed Denver. The day before that, they hung on to come and came back to beat the Lakers. They beat the Kings and they beat the Suns. They are 4-0. Good for
what?
They're a fun team to watch. Dame is red hot right now.
Well, and that's, again, how many times in this offseason, and I'm not going to say acknowledge me because a lot of other...
Acknowledge me!
There was people that were so mixed on Portland. There was people like Deuce, and then there's people like me who I was just like, I'm not ready to count out a healthy Dame Lillard. Then he showed us in that preseason, okay, not so healthy. And then he showed against the Kings, okay, maybe Dame's not going to look the same. Hey, he showed up now. He's showing what he can do late in the game. And then on top of that, Jeremy Grant, you got Simons, who is just, what a crafty guard that is so good at getting to the basket in big moments
Can
too.
hit big shots.
Yeah, it's cool that there are people around Dame that can, I don't know, just like not be at the same level, but kind of in some ways, especially losing CJ. It's like, who else did we add? Oh, these guys, and they have stepped up.
Josh Hart too.
Yes.
Yeah, and take some pressure. Like I mentioned this the other night after the Kings game when we briefly touched on the Blazers. Like 2 of their games, Simons is hitting a big shot against the Suns.
Yep.
And Grant has the ball in his hand late to blow by LeBron and score a basket. It's not just Dame knocking down threes. He's getting some help. The biggest question I have for them long-term is their depth, but I do like their starting 5. I do. You just rattled it off.
What's Nurk going to do, man? What does he need to do?
It's Nurk. You just live with, he's going to have his good nights. He's going to have his bad nights. He's going to have nights where, double-double. He's going to be kind of lazy on defense at times.
Man.
But, dude, I think, some of these teams, I mean, you saw it tonight in the Pelicans game. Like, Valanciunas is a very talented big. Late in the game, the Pelicans took him out.
Christian Wood.
Small, right? Christian Wood came out late, in that game. And then the Blazers, they went small against the Kings, right? They had Winslow in there.
Yeah.
So, teams are going to have to adjust. It makes it tough. If you're a big who can't defend, and that's my big concern with the Kings, with Sabonis. I mean, this is long ways away from being super competitive, but in the playoffs, that guy might get played off the floor at times. And, that can be a concern, especially if he doesn't need to be perfect defensively.
That's
but
what I was
you
going to
can't
say.
just be getting destroyed in pick and roll.
You need to be
coverages.
really good at something defensively, though, if you're that size. And what is that going to be? Is that going to be your ability to just body up guys if they step foot in the paint, or is that going to be in the pick and roll, like you're in drop coverage, but you're still a big enough presence? Whatever it is, he needs to be at elite at defensively.
Someone in the Twitch chat said, check out the halftime score of Warriors-Suns. Yeah, the Suns are up 72-66. So, back-to-back games where the Warriors are giving up 70-plus points in the first half. 71 to Sacramento, 72 to the Phoenix Suns.
Look at that defense. Missing GP2.
All right.
Another guy that's going to make Portland better.
Well, that's the other. Gary Payton II, dude.
And he's on his way. He's on his way.
Okay. So Portland's going to be better than I gave them credit for.
Okay.
I think.
I think so.
I think
so too.
I mean, they're not this good, but it doesn't matter. That's the thing where we go, well, they're not that good. It's like, well, you know what? They're winning these games.
Exactly.
And this is get ahead a little bit. So when you go through tough times, you build a little bit of a cushion. It's a little easier at 4-0 than digging yourself out of an 0-3 hole like the Kings, the Lakers, some of these other teams, right? So they're 4-0. Would you consider that a surprise? Yeah, right?
For me, no. I mean, if they were 3-1, I still would say no. It's not a surprise.
What about the Spurs and Jazz just chilling at 3-1?
Surprise. Did not expect that, but I don't think we gave the Jazz enough credit before the season.
Yeah, well, I think we did in our final NBA preview podcast.
Okay.
I think they're going to be sneaky annoying because they have guys who can play.
Yeah.
That's the team where you see them at 3-1 right now. They got their first loss against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Perspective: Houston's a young team that gives up a ton of points. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to continue this, of course, but where does Ainge go with this? Because so many people just assume they're going to tank for Victor, and they probably still will. I think what's most likely for Utah at this point, they'll get rid of Conley,
Okay.
Clarkson, maybe Beasley. But like someone like Lauri Markkanen, he's 25.
Keep him.
He's under contract for a couple more years at a reasonable rate. He does some nice things at his size. And then someone like Jared Vanderbilt, who I know a lot of Kings fans say, oh, get him. He's like 23, 24 years old. He makes $4 million a year.
Keep him.
These are the guys you want. Vanderbilt's a guy that you want in your culture because he's going to bust his ass.
Yep.
So I think at some point they'll strip that down and kind of focus on that, but they'll hang on to those two guys.
As they should. You know, we talk about them having those sneaky veteran players, Rudy Gay, Conley, obviously someone in Jordan Clarkson who you've seen over the years be that sixth man. And if you want to have an opportunity at someone like Victor Wembanyama, then you need to make sure that you're stripping that down by trade deadline and some of those players going to other teams that are trying to compete in the postseason.
Yeah, Utah right now, as they play hard, they maybe catch some teams off guard early, but they're not going to be a good team, especially once they do the teardown.
Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, I feel
same with the Spurs.
Yeah.
The Spurs are well, and what do those two teams have in common, Morgan Reagan?
What? Good culture, good foundation.
Oh, that's not bad, man.
Yeah.
I like that. They both beat the Minnesota T-Wolves.
You just wanted to throw that one in there.
No. We need to talk about Minnesota for a second. They may be 2-2. Do you guys realize their schedule? Let's talk about their first 4 games.
Talk about it.
Home for Oklahoma City.
Ugh.
Home for Utah.
Blah.
At OKC. Home for the Spurs. Oh, okay. They're 2-2. Let's not end there. They were down last night to the Spurs by as many as 35 points.
That's when I turned it on, yeah.
And then that Utah game the other night, Utah was down 17. They came back, forced overtime, won in overtime on their home floor. It does take teams time. And talk about a dramatic overhaul, right? They traded Vanderbilt, Beverly, some very key guys that were instrumental into kind of what they did, especially defensively. And they traded 800 picks to get Rudy Gobert. The vibes are bad. That's the thing that concerns me is like the vibes are bad. Their schedule's been soft. And what was the other stat? I think they allowed like 60-something points in the paint to the Spurs when you've got these two bigs.
Yes.
We're talking about this Gobert cat experiment. It has been outrageously bad in the half court with this defense.
2 things. When we watched them take on the Spurs, and you just see Pirtle with ease.
Hey,
with ease
can we
go
give
around
Pirtle
Rudy
some
Gobert.
love?
Absolutely.
That guy's a solid
He's a
big.
fundamentally sound big that just like buys in, sticks to whatever Greg Popovich tells him. Good job. You're going to have a long career. But going back to the T-Wolves and their squad, I think about someone like Ant, and you've seen it. His body language, a little bit different in that offset half-court offense.
You want to talk? We're going to play a little game here, okay, Morgan? You have not seen this clip yet.
No.
This game we're going to call is, hey, good leadership or bad teammate?
This is a game?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just came up with it
Hey,
today.
good leadership or bad teammate? Okay.
Carl Anthony Towns is talking about Anthony Edwards, who was struggling in that game against the Spurs. Here's what Kat had to say.
Ant was just telling us that he puts a lot of this on him, and he's got to be better in back-to-backs, that he has not done that so far. Can you help him through that, or just is that a young player trying to figure out what to do in this league and how to answer the bell 2 nights in a row?
I mean, maybe I could do a better job of teaching him how to take care of his body, diet and everything. So that'll be on me. I know y'all think it's funny up here when he talks about Popeyes and all that shit. That doesn't make me happy to hear. We're high-level athletes, so. I got work. I got work to do. But also, it falls on me too. The old cliche. It falls on you. Everyone wants to take the blame, but it's all of us.
Wait, I didn't know that he was also Ant's nutritionist. That's amazing. You didn't tell me that. So no, not a bad teammate, not a good leader, just nutritionist, right? Cat is wild. Just wild.
Cat wants so badly to be a leader. And in that moment, God, did he think he was Michael Jordan there as like this tough love. Meanwhile, Cat's getting exposed left and right defensively. And he is to the media.
Be nice.
To the media calling out Anthony Edwards' nutrition? That's what we're talking about after a game?
Okay.
You're down 35 to the Spurs at home.
I'm not going to try to stick up for him or anything. People have different personalities, as we all know. And it was like Cat was searching for something there to be like, okay, what is it that I should say in this moment to talk about Ant and what he can do better? Obviously, that's something that's been on his mind. You all think it's funny when he talks about Popeyes and everything. And I did say to you the other day that Ant did look a little bit chubbier.
And you know what? Even if Cat is right, that's not what you do.
No.
Like let me break down. Why is he struggling? Like I would ask me that same question. I'll be Cat. This is what Cat should do.
Okay, so are you talking about me or Ant? Who you're just being Cat.
I'm back, Cat. You asked me the question.
Sorry,
Here's what Cat's supposed to do.
Hey, Cat. Anything you can do for a young guy on your team to really help him find his groove, his rhythm as a leader? What can you do?
Yeah, he works hard. He's gonna be fine, man. And you know, I got to do a better job, kind of getting him in spots. And you know, it's not just on one person; it's on all of us. You know, we have a good team. I still believe in the team, and we just got to keep going. That's all there is to it. And we're gonna get back in the gym tomorrow and refocus. We play the Spurs again, and this is not going to happen. We're not going to have a performance like this. If we want to get to the next level, we have to play a certain style, and we got to do it together.
I think Cat should hire you as his
This
PR
is not
person.
hard, but when you try to be a fake leader, no,
I know. No, it's true.
Don't tell me this is who Cat is,
I don't
man.
like talking bad, but it's true.
It's just nothing about it feels authentic.
It's not. It's definitely not. It's the same thing that Cat does in a lot of different interviews where you can just like see past it and you're like,
if you're Anthony Edwards hearing that too, like you're not vibing with that.
Why are you calling me out on my diet?
And I was telling you this the other night when I was watching their game. I went back, I was watching the end of the Utah-Minnesota game. It was wild to me seeing Anthony Edwards just hang out in the corner while Cat was doing his thing. And Edwards is too talented. We saw it last year in the playoffs. And it doesn't mean that, you know, he is going to just ascend. It's not, you know, there's going to be ups and downs for a young player in this league. And I think he's going to learn something about his body. Like last year, Fox came in heavy.
Yeah.
Right? Mark Jones is telling us, oh, he had a muscle. And we thought it was a good thing. Ended up not being a good thing for Fox.
Yeah.
And he worked on his body, right? He looks back
burned
to
it
kind
off
of
quick.
Edwards looks a little thick right now.
Yes.
Edwards is struggling in this offense right now. You got to help this guy out and get his confidence back up and touches. That's not the way to do it. I do want to take a step back from bashing on Cat for a second, just talk about Minnesota for a second because how much is on the line. I think back to like how crazy this Gobert trade was and what they gave up to do it, right? Like all the future picks. On top of that, Gobert is 30. He makes a ton of money, and you're betting that this pair is going to be enough to get you to the next level.
Right.
It's not to say they can't turn the season around, but I don't think anyone's looking at Minnesota at this point saying, hey, they're going to be in the championship conversation. That's a trade you make to be in the championship conversation.
That's it.
This is weird. And if this doesn't work out, man, Tim Connelly's in his first year, but man, this is a franchise-altering decision.
Yeah, it is. And I kept saying in the off season, I was like, do they know something I don't? You know, I was trying to just, and I'm still going to give it its chance, right? I'm like, what maybe there's some analytics to this that I'm not seeing that they get where like two bigs, different matchups, it can be the answer. It's not looking like it quick. And is it because of the personalities or is it because of the pieces, the basketball players out there? And I feel like it's a combination because I feel like there would be a way that you can make Rudy Gobert and Cat work in the paint. No, not in this day and age in the NBA.
I just think I think it's tough, right? Like,
then why would they do it?
Here's the thing,
though?
Morgan. You say then why are they struggling in the paint so much? Like, why are they allowing 50-plus points in the paint a night when they have these two bigs. Because Cat trying to defend some of these fours coming out on the perimeter is terrible.
Yep.
Gobert gets played off the floor in playoff games in Utah.
Your help has to be perfect at that point.
And it's not like Gobert's like a good defensive player, right?
Yeah.
But he's obviously extremely unlimited defensively. I mean, offensively. It's just how I look at what they have done. They have bet so much on those two guys, giving Cat a contract extension and trading everything for Gobert, when in reality, they should be focusing more on the Anthony Edwards.
100%. And that should have been clear to them last year, because there was times even last year when Cat was getting those big numbers, but you knew ultimately who it felt like was actually carrying that team. And the spirit, the soul that they had with that team last year, even with Patrick Beverley being all excited about what was that, a play-in win? Was that? Or what? It was the play-in win. And I know we all joked about it and everything because it was kind of hilarious, but at the same time, there was something different with that soul of that squad. And they don't have that this year. And Anthony Edwards doesn't look like he's feeling it. And that's the guy, in my opinion, just like you were saying, that you want to make sure it's built around.
Yeah, you want him to be engaged. He's too early in his career to be in this point. Like, you remember De'Aaron Fox last year? It was like, oh, slow start. And then that went into like, oh, wait, it's January 15th and he's not engaged at all. He looks like he doesn't want to be here, all that stuff. You don't want that. I mean, Fox was here 5 years, you know? Like, there's a lot of shit going on. You don't want him doing that. But if Anthony Edwards is doing this early in his career in Minnesota, that's you got to nip this in the bud.
Cat is DeMarcus Cousins with a smile, right? And remember how many years, obviously the roster construction around DeMarcus
here's my
was
take.
Shit and what?
DeMarcus was a better player at his peak.
That's fair.
But
Cat is almost a different game with the way that the game has evolved. And DeMarcus probably could have been even a better outside shooter if he was playing in this era at a different age in his career. But either way, you look at what type of people they are as like, hey, they get the big numbers. They can do some dominant stuff out there on the floor. But ultimately, there's something that's just not clicking when it comes to the team effort, the team play. And this is a team sport.
Also, one last thing on Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
He may be an NBA player. He is 21 years old. Yeah, he probably needs to work on his diet a bit, but he's not the first 20, 21-year-old NBA player who maybe has to work on that a bit. I mean, what did you eat at the age of 20?
Oh, God.
When I was 20, you know what we used to do at this?
Frappuccinos and Taco Bell.
Back in the day when I worked behind the scenes at KHTK, I was probably 20 years old. I used to be a board operator, which is the person that controls the microphones, the music, all that. And I remember at night, you know, I had a ton of friends there, right? Like interns or whatever. We would get food every night.
From?
Jack in a Box tacos. You know how many Jack in a Box tacos I consumed as a 20-year-old?
Disgusting.
A ton. At that age, you don't think about that stuff. You're not worried about that. And I know, he's an athlete. He's still 21 years old.
I mean, that mentality is still different, right? Even talking when we were talking to Stockton Kings player DJ Stewart about his 15 pounds, and then talking to some of the coaching staff, I was like, whoa, how are you going to keep that on to the athletic trainer? Like, how do you guys keep that on? And they're like, he doesn't like to eat. So, like, we're going to have to figure out what he loves to eat and force him to eat the food. Like, there's just people at different spots in their lives, whether it's in their early 20s or even mid 20s, that still don't understand how to eat properly. And I know you're like, well, why don't you just spend millions on it like LeBron? Well, LeBron makes millions upon millions upon millions, but yes, there should be other people that they should be utilizing to make sure that they are putting the right stuff in their body.
The funniest shit I heard about DJ Stewart yesterday.
Yeah.
This is the most random podcast sometimes.
I know.
DJ,
is on DJ?
DJ Stewart doesn't like cheese.
I thought that was Keon.
No.
It was DJ.
DJ Stewart doesn't, I'm pretty sure.
Thought yesterday you told me it was Keon.
One of the Stockton Kings players, it doesn't matter who at this point, Morgan. One of the Stockton Kings players doesn't like cheese, but likes cheese on pizza.
So melted cheese.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
I wonder if they like brie because it's like melted. With a
That's
little-
weird.
Well,
But my go-to back in the day, I could eat like at minimum 6 Jack in a Box tacos and a sourdough jack.
would you have a soda too?
Sometimes I get a shake.
So
Remember
you
the shakes?
wash it down with
What?
a
Give me a
shake? What a
shake.
sick freak.
My problem with eating is like I just can't have food like that in the house anymore. I ate so poorly as a child and drank so much soda that now as an adult I realize, oh wait, I feel like crappy when I eat that stuff. But if it was I'm sorry, if I had like chips in the house all the time, ice cream, anything I would eat it. I don't have control, so my option I can't have it in the house.
That's so I remember we never had like all my friends would have the little snack bags, Doritos and Oreos and stuff. My parents couldn't really afford that stuff, so we'd have pasta. Like I ate so much. That's probably why I was like such a chubby little kid. I ate so much noodles in my younger days. But yeah, which was actually kind of probably better for me than the shit you were eating.
Best fast food?
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
100%.
Taco Bell, man. Every once in a while, you just got to get a cheesy gordita crunch. About 2 of those.
Ooh.
Nachos Bel Grande.
Nowadays, like, because I don't do the meat thing, I'll do like beans. They have like bean stuffing there.
Yeah, they do black beans in there if you want it. Sometimes what I'll do, because I used to be strict vegan.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I try to eat more veggies than meat. But lately I've been loose with it.
Okay.
So if I went to a Taco Bell, which I don't do often, but if I did, I would get 1 normal cheesy gordita crunch and then 1 black bean one.
What? Why?
Just to feel less guilty. I only had 1 meat one. Whatever that mystery meat was.
Mystery, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a mystery. I love it. People are also like, Taco Bell.
As we wrap this up, Nin Sage in the chat says, I'm a little scared to tell my cheesy gordita crunch story, but I will if prodded. You're being prodded. I need to know the story now.
I don't think I want to know.
Yeah.
You're not going to want a cheesy gordita crunch anymore.
No, it could be great.
Balance. Leezy says balance.
No, balance is key. Yes, balance is absolutely key. I completely agree. One last NBA topic, because we were talking about surprise teams. We mentioned Utah, San Antonio, Portland, Minnesota to a certain extent. Are you surprised that the Lakers are 0-3? Like, are you surprised that it is this, how it's gone for them? Like this?
I know I didn't know how it was going to go. I think before we started the season, it was more like I was giving them the superstar love. Like, I'm not going to count out healthy LeBron and healthy Anthony Davis. So I'm going to go with then, yes, I am surprised it's this shitty of basketball. This is, I mean, it's an awful product out there. It's insane to think about Rob Pelinka just not doing anything before the season, being like, yeah, no, we could totally make Darvin Ham, you got this? Can you work it out with Russ? Can you make everything work? It's awful. It's bad, and I cannot wait till they mix things up. Oh, breaking news?
Yeah, I do have one thing he did this offseason. He signed a brand new 4-year extension.
For doing nothing.
Also, Westbrook may not play against Denver with a hamstring.
Again, the hamstring again. What is that? Conspiracy theory? Or you're just like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's
It's
see.
so
Well,
weird.
let's see how they play.
It was so weird. Remember, he left the Kings game with a hamstring thing.
After he came off the bench.
And then he blamed it off about coming off the bench. And then he was in the starting lineup opening night. Apparently, it's flared up again. But the whole situation is an absolute mess.
It's a mess.
So I don't envision it getting much better. With the other team in LA, the Clippers, of course, they lost tonight. But this Kawhi thing is a little strange to me. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to pretend to be one, obviously. But the guy is coming off a torn ACL. He missed all of last season.
Mm-hmm.
And the first game of the season against the Suns, he comes off the... Was it against the Suns? Who was their first game? Oh, against the Lakers. My bad.
Okay.
The Lakers, remember, opening night. He came off the bench in like the second quarter. The timing was weird, but their doctors have like some sort of structure. He did not play against Sacramento. He did play against the Suns, played 21 minutes off the bench, and he did not play tonight against Oklahoma City. Is it a little concerning? Or is this just like, hey, it's early season, trying to get him kind of reacclimated into things after not playing for a year? Is it concerning that he's missing games like this and it's being structured in this way?
I don't think it's concerning. But I will say this, and I don't know who else feels this way. I feel like it's disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm saying that as a basketball fan. You know, I'm not a doctor either. Surprise, surprise. And what they're doing could be the right way to go about him and his injury history and making sure that he's there in the postseason. I totally get that. But as a basketball fan, it's so fun when he is out there because he is a freak. And then 2, I do look at this team and I go, what are you going to do chemistry-wise? Well, they're a deep team. They have next man up mentality stuff, but what are they going to do when it's like adversity hits and Kawhi's in and he's taking over and it's hero ball or so I'm just acting like something like that could happen.
Ty Lue said Leonard has not suffered a setback with his right ACL, and the team is remaining extremely cautious. He said today, after shoot-around, he experienced some stiffness in his knee. And so we want to be cautious, make sure we're doing the right thing by him, even though he wanted to play. We just thought it wasn't smart. He could be mad at us if he wants to, but just not smart right now.
And maybe it's just they all have the same storyline, the same narrative, and that's what they're pushing too. Because if that's the case, good job. Because then they're not going to get in trouble for load management games by the NBA. No one's going to be worried, right?
True. Dan in the chat, appreciate the donation. He donated $2 saying
Thanks,
Westbrook shooting 8% from 3. 8%. Yeah. I mean, the Lakers as a team, just not.
Stop shooting the 3, man.
Kev Maddock Beat says, can I get a shout out? It's my birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday, my man.
Shout out. Happy birthday. Yeah. Shout out. I wanted to see if the cheesy gordita crunch story was.
I'm going to get to the cheesy gordita crunch story, but I'm going to be honest. I'm a little disappointed in Sage.
Oh, good. Okay. So it's not that bad.
When I was in college, the cheesy gordita crunch was not in the menu, at least around here. So you'd ask for it special. And since my friends and I knew about it, we called ourselves the Cheesy Gordita Cult, aka the CGCs. Yeah, we were pretty cool.
That's your story? I was expecting something so much worse.
I was expecting, he's like, dude, one night I had 12 of them.
Oh, I was expecting something even worse.
I'll be honest, I would join the CGC, the Cheesy Gordita Cult. CGC.
Cool.
Benny, I appreciate him reminding me of this. Today, 20 years ago today, Doug Christie punched Rick Fox.
Best punch in history of the world.
I just think, for those who weren't around at the time, the context of this it's crazy, right? The Kings were coming off a disappointing Game 7 series with the Lakers in the conference finals. Lakers go on to win the championship. These two teams meet in the preseason. No Kings fan liked Rick Fox. I mean, you didn't like any Lakers, but Rick Fox, there was just something about him, right?
Screw him.
Oh, you're
stupid
so pretty.
smile.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice hair.
Oh my God. My stomach hurts thinking about how much I
Derek
hated
Fisher.
him.
Oh, his stupid headband. Robert Ory.
Don't get me.
And then you had Shaq and Kobe. I mean, you had all those. Phil Jackson. You hate that team.
Everyone.
And the fact that these two teams met in the preseason.
Yeah.
And Doug gave Rick Fox an uppercut to the chin. And then it bled in behind the scenes. Shaq, who did not play in the game, was getting involved with it. I guess there was more punches thrown behind the scenes with Doug.
Didn't Jackie Christie have
Jackie
to
Christie
go after,
was back there, dude. It was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great drama for the NBA too. Those teams hated each other.
I hated. Yeah, I even hated the Lakers dancers at the time.
Oh, I still hate the Lakers dancers.
Yeah.
And their stupid PA guy.
Screw them.
Oh, the Lakers.
Ugh. So
ladies and gentlemen.
Who talks like that? Losers do. Losers, and you're losing.
Anthony.
Stupid losers. The Kings are also losing, but you're stupid.
My favorite part of this last 10-second stretch was I was trying to do the Lakers PA guy, and Morgan just kept talking over it.
That's what you were still doing?
Because of how much she hates the Lakers.
She
couldn't even let me finish my what's his name? Lawrence
do it.
What's his name? Lakers PA guy. I want to get this right. He's like a legend. I'm like hitting on him or hating on him. Lawrence Tanter. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Davis. Ugh. Bishop's Gallery says, remember Tunel 21. Yeah, Vlade's Club in Old Sac. Fred Dixon says, donates $10 and says, can we get a win on Thursday night? And we love our Deuce and Mo.
Appreciate you, Fred.
Appreciate that, man.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hopefully. It's gonna be another tough one, you guys. I mean, it's just what it is.
We appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. We're going to be back Thursday night following Kings-Grizzlies. Will we be talking about a win? Basketball guys, I hope so. Please. We love you guys, but we gots to go.
You all have a wonderful rest of your night. Thanks for talking hoops with that. See ya.
Deuce